He's the tallest
The
man
ceremonial
on the
passing of the
radio.
Jerry.
So
Thank
sit right
you.
back and
Salute.
enjoy the show. Flying through the air like a ballistic missile. Here's your host, Ben Kissel.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Ben Kissel Politics, the greatest political podcast going today. I am Ben Kissel. You can find me on Instagram at BenKissel1. Joined as always by producer extraordinaire, Louis Ramsey.
Hello, Internet.
We have a fantastic Friday episode for you. A lot to get to. AI. People are getting arrested for crimes they did not commit because human beings are trusting artificial intelligence instead of the intelligence between their ears. We got some war talk. There's a lot to get to today. But first, we're going to go with some motivation, as we like to do on this show. In a world that tries to drag you down, we're trying to pick you up. And who lifts us up more than the Fonz himself, Henry Winkler? He was asked to speak at a university's graduation. And what a fantastic speaker he is. And if I was graduating this year, I would wish that the wink it, would be the man speaking to me. But let's play Henry Winkler motivating today's future, aka college graduates.
Every one of you is powerful.
Yes.
Some of you know your power. Some of you are scared of your power.
No.
Some of you haven't touched it yet. You're not aware it's even there yet. And I want to tell you, you are powerful.
Thank you,
In
Henry.
you is a great gift. And your job is to figure out what your gift is, because this world needs every single one of you.
That's right.
And your job is to find that gift and give it to the world. It doesn't matter what it is. We need it. Go.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Unless, of course, your gift is being a sharpshooter, in which case we don't need another DC sniper situation. But Henry Winkler reminding you and me that we have power. Harness that power. Use it for good. Spread some love and some good times and some good vibes. And the world will be a better place. A lot of people like to spread their message through music. This is one of those segments where I had to listen to it, so now you have to listen to it. I have two political parody songs. I don't know what happened. Maybe I got too stoned off of some sweet California weed, but I went down a rabbit hole of political parody. It's worse than I imagined it could ever be. I am shook. I am a martini that James Bond would drink. I don't know what to think anymore about music or if people should ever sing. But let's play these clips back to back, and these are two different genres, if you will. One side, one parody song is very pro-Trump, and the other parody song is very anti-Trump. Comment below, who do you think sung it worse? So let's play a parody song. I don't even know which one's going to come out first. It could either be pro or anti-Trump, but let's just play the newest political hot jams fresh off the top 1 million. Oh, here we go.
Sort of a maggot queen, and she made a scene, obsessed with finding conspiracies like Dirk Malone.
This is the Marsh Family.
And these days, she could show double down.
I'm not exactly sure who they're singing about.
She defied everyone. Took a chance, getting more, me around.
I do think the family needs to be investigated. Oh, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Her parents had named her Marjorie, which was kind of mean. Maybe it led her to try to dream of owning a gun.
Hey, Dad, do you think I can go to high school next year? No, son.
That goes wrong.
We're homeschooling. Don't forget to sing in the bathroom later.
She read lots of stories about shootings in the schools. Went around spreading junk and hurt.
The mom's good. Oh, see, the daughters really gotta vocalize. Come on.
Taylor Greene has broken cover.
Oh my
She's
God.
just the first of many Republicans.
Don't do this.
Trump.
Michael is turning in his grave right
She
now.
said he was the one. Oh, yeah.
a house that doesn't allow porno.
On Trump's campaigns and on party nights.
How does this end up in your feed, Ben?
I actively searched for this. So this is the Marsh family. So they have a lot of videos. I really pray to God that their children never have any of their friends see those videos. I don't know if their kids are allowed outside. So it's powerful though. And if you're Marjorie Taylor Greene, obviously she's a bit of a darling on the left right now because she stood up to Donald Trump because he refused to release the Epstein files because his buddies were going to get in trouble. But nonetheless, they let her know what they think of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's play a pro-Trump parody song. And I just want to know which ones or do you think are more entertaining? Because my God, is music it's in such a great space, I almost wish I was deaf.
We're the deplorable choir. We don't care if you're white. We don't care if you're black.
All right.
We don't care if you're gay.
Okay.
We're all under attack.
That's right.
We don't care if you're rich.
Sweet.
Don't care if you're poor. We just know what we're fighting for.
There we go.
Sing it. Real women vote for Trump. We don't need no liberal Trump. Yeah, real women vote for Trump.
This is a unique music.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't just
Real women
steal from Michael.
vote Trump. We don't need no liberal Trump. Yeah, real women vote for Trump. We don't care if you're girls.
There we go.
We don't care if you're dudes.
All right.
We don't care if you're both.
Let's go.
That's
There we go. Very powerful message. So what song, just based on that, how are you voting, Lewis?
I actually hate to say I think the second song was better.
I think the second song is better. And they had their own music. They didn't steal it from MJ.
I was tapping my toes a little bit. I mean,
I know. It's one of those things where, I listen to Leonard Skinner all the time, and sometimes they talk about, Alabama, and they talk about, do you enjoy Richard Nixon? I say, I don't think I really liked Richard Nixon, but they seem to like him, but I separate the art from the artist sometimes. And you have to do that. You have to do that. Anyway, they don't want no liberal chumps. They want you to vote for Trump. Speaking of voting, and what some people might consider a chump, we have got to talk about the mayoral election. The primary is June 2nd. Karen Bass is currently in the lead. However, Spencer Pratt is climbing up. He's nipping at her heels like a little chihuahua. Bark, bark. As a matter of fact, a lot of celebrities have come out in favor of Spencer Pratt. Some I'm surprised of. Some I'm surprised by, rather. There's specifically Perez Hilton and Paris Hilton. Both Perez and Paris Hilton. He's got both Hiltons.
I haven't heard Perez Hilton's name in like 15 years, probably.
Well, he's about to die.
Okay.
He had some gastrointestinal issue.
Didn't he run like a celebrity gossip site?
He was one of the reasons why the internet is so horrible. I believe he's on his apology tour for the last 5 years because I think he found God. And then he was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have driven all those people to suicide by calling them big fat pigs. Nonetheless, a lot of people in Los Angeles are looking at Spencer Pratt and they're saying, buddy, you're our guy. Karen Bass is currently leading the race with 30% support. Spencer Pratt, 22%. Ramon has 19%. Now, you assume those 19%, if she does drop out, which I think she will have to after the primary, you assume that will go to Karen Bass. But politics are strange. And obviously, there's a lot of resentment towards Karen Bass regarding how she handled the Palisades fire. So he's got a lot of celebrities in his corner, Joe Rogan being one of them. Now, that's a blessing and a curse. He's got a unique brand. Is Joe Rogan one of those celebrities where you're like, thanks, but no thanks, because you're actually going to end up hurting me? It's sort of like, hey, by the way, Harvey Weinstein is supporting me for 2028. I don't know if you really want it. Paris Hilton, another pioneer in reality television. She says Spencer for mayor. Actor James Woods, of course, made famous by Family Guy, James Woods High. He says Spencer Pratt is surprisingly effective, direct, polite, and prepared in tonight's debate. Of course, that was the one debate they had here in LA. And after that, the two other candidates said, we can't compete, which was a bad look for many politicians here in LA, whether it be Katie Porter or Javier Becerra. He also recently sat down, obviously he's running for governor, but he recently sat down with an interviewer and he's like, so this is a profile piece, right? And they're like, well, we're going to ask you tough questions. He's like, I'm done. I don't know why the politicians have gotten such thin skin when it comes to being confronted by the media. You would think that would be one of the easier parts of the job, it being that LA is a very difficult place to be a mayor of. The Hills alum, Kristen Cavallari, she says, I think Spencer Pratt running for mayor is fucking genius because I think everyone in politics, I don't care what side you're on, everyone is corrupt. Well, speaking of corruption, Spencer Pratt, he knows a thing or two about people taking other people's money. And who does that better than a California, I'm going to paraphrase here, hoe. This next video, he's got a group of people locked up that are voting for Spencer Pratt. This is a video called Hoes for Spencer Pratt. If you're a child, earmuffs, okay? It's a little bit blue, but that's okay. So let's play this clip of ladies of the street, and sometimes mid-afternoon, depending on where they slept. Ladies saying, yeah, I rock and sell my body. That's how I make a living, and I'm supporting Spencer Pratt for mayor.
Hoes for Spencer Pratt! Hoes for Spencer Pratt!
Whoa.
Hoes for Spencer Pratt!
I'm on Figueroa Street, known as the heart of the Los Angeles hoe economy, and the working women of this district have something to say about the candidates that are running for the 2026 mayor of Los Angeles. What's your name and who are you voting for?
My name is Mia.
Hi,
I'm voting
Mia.
for Spencer Pratt because I want to run my entrepreneurial business without drug-addicted zombies running me off the block.
That's
Give me
right.
20 minutos, okay? 20 minutos, I'll be back. Hoes for
Oh my
Spencer
God.
Pratt.
I think
What's
I know
your
her.
name and who are you voting for?
I'm Lisa and I'm voting for Spencer Pratt. I'm voting for Spencer Pratt because I'm tired of putting out fires that aren't mine.
That's right.
Refund the fire department. I should be the only thing smoking on the street. Hoes for Spencer Pratt.
Spencer Pratt! Spencer Pratt!
What's your name and who are you voting for?
My name's Wow and I'm voting for Spencer Pratt. Spencer
Whoa.
said he's going to cut all the rules for small businesses. Do you know how many rules I deal with on the blade? Hoes vote for Spencer Pratt.
That's
So
right.
when it comes to Figueroa, you've got our vote. We give Spencer Pratt 5 stars.
All right, thank you so much. Hoes for Spencer Pratt. That's at least 3 votes he's got. And my God, I think that if you're him, you got a lot of wealthy people, you got your celebrity class, and now you got the working ladies of Figueroa Street also supporting you. What a campaign. What a wide net for the campaign.
I will say, people that were on reality TV seem to be very good at political debates. Like, because
Yes.
Trump comes from that too, and he just mopped everybody on the debates, and like that just happened now, where like the other Democrats don't want to debate this guy. They're just like, oh, you're actually good in front of a camera. Like, we cannot compete with that.
That's right. And of course, one might say, are public debates, the way that we have them set up, are they the best indicator of who could actually be an acting mayor of a city? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe that's where we are. Well, why we are where we are right now is because our process is a lot more like a reality show than a political process. And of course, the man that made that famous is Donald Trump. Let's move on a little bit here. We've got some funny jokes from J.D. Vance coming up. But 2028, it's right around the corner. J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, they have basically now become the 2 front runners, at least in the eyes of Donald Trump and many of the MAGA movement. And he's holding an apprentice-style competition between the two. Now, of course, I think J.D. Vance has a leg up. Being vice president, more normal ears, slightly more name recognition, perhaps, than Marco Rubio. But then he got Marco Rubio from a very important state, being Florida. Although, are they both Ohio and Florida so unbelievably blood red that it doesn't even matter at this point? There used to be swing states in this country. Those are getting fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer. Rubio has called J.D. Vance a very, very, very dear friend. So that's 3 verys. So that's when you wanted to write, and you're in third grade and you have to write 50 words on a paper about summer vacation. And you're like, I had a really, really, really great time at this very, very nice resort. And then your teacher says, I'm sorry, you can't reuse words. And then I would argue, why not? Because that still gets me to the 50-word limit, which you have put on my assignment. So Marco Rubio says he's a very, very, very dear friend, which means in political terms, they hate each other. So Donald Trump was recently over in China. And when Donald Trump goes to China, there's J.D. Vance left alone at the White House because they can't travel together. They don't want to, just in case something does happen, a big old bomb goes off and one dies, we can't be losing both. What would we ever do? Of course, I'm sure you guys saw when Donald Trump got to China, there was a celebration of children. A lot of children. We'll talk about some disgusting things here in a little bit regarding children. There was children who were just like, yay, we love you, we love you. And then Donald's like, this is it. This is how I should be treated everywhere. Of course, that's all part of the propaganda. It's all part of rubbing his perineum until he really feels the love. But let's play J.D. Vance talking about what it feels like when Donald Trump is away from the White House. And, he's got a bit. And he loves to use this bit over and over and over again. So let's play it.
I sometimes feel like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. I walk into the White House and it's very quiet and no one's there. Good afternoon, everybody. How we doing? Good. Good to see you all. So as you know, the president just landed in China a few hours ago. I always, you may know that because of Secret Service protocols that I don't travel outside of the country with the President of the United States. So on days today, I sometimes feel like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. I walk into the White House and it's very quiet and no one's there. And it takes me a second to realize exactly what's going on. But we've got a very big announcement today, actually a number of big announcements.
Isn't that amazing? He sometimes feels like Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone. God, I love good humor. Isn't that fantastic? Well, speaking of good humor, someone who definitely played a prank on all of the voters in Pennsylvania, John Fetterman. He became the deciding vote to continue the bullshit war in Iran. Now, the interesting thing about the war in Iran, specifically when it comes to getting their nuclear or uranium, Donald Trump literally just admitted that it's for PR. So I think it's 3,000 people that we've killed over there. Again, between that and what the regime has actually killed of their own people, the people of Iran are struggling. Not to mention, again, the school that we blew up because Pete Hegseth, the War Department, says we no longer give a fuck about any rules. We'll kill kids because that's what real warriors do. Despite the fact the reality is the absolute opposite. But anyway, this is what Donald Trump had to say regarding getting uranium out of Iran. He says we have 9 cameras on that site, on those 3 sites, 24 hours a day. We know exactly what's happening. Nobody's even gotten close. I just feel better if I got it, actually. But I think it's more for public relations than it is for anything else. So at least, during Vietnam, they were like, this is to protect Western culture. And at least now they're just like, this will be good. We got the midterms coming up. If we can get a little bit of uranium from Iran, that's going to help us. I might move the needle a little bit politically. So this is brilliant. So now the man who is carrying Donald Trump's mayonnaise for him, John Fetterman, has come out and made the deciding vote to continue the war in Iran. I am so disappointed in this man. I can't even articulate it. I used to say John Fetterman to make you a better man. And I guess the Israeli war and Israel really got to him. He has completely turned his back on his base in Pennsylvania. And so many of them are now looking and saying, who the hell did we vote for? He's got another 3+ years to be the senator. Obviously, senators, they have 6-year terms. So this mistake is going to be long-lasting for the people of Pennsylvania. And it wasn't a mistake originally. Don't forget, he was running against Dr. Oz. And everyone's like, well, Dr. Oz, first of all, he's not a real doctor. Second of all, we know what the wizard's all about. He's evil. But then John Fetterman came in and said, hold my beer. Let's play John Fetterman on Fox News bragging about being the deciding vote in a war that never should have frickin' happened in the first place.
You know, why wouldn't I support that? So I'm proud to have that vote. And also something that the president said before he left for China. I mean, he said something that got clipped saying, I'm not thinking about American people financially. But what he really was saying, he did say is like, you know, I'm really thinking that we can't ever let Iran building a bomb. And I mean, that's the essence of what that is. And to hold that line, I mean, how could we just walk away and not let that happen? And now the whole world should join us, stand with us. China, you know, Europe, all these other countries should say we should demand Iran end their nuclear ambitions. And now we can all get back to building up all of our nation and parts of the world. So that's.
So not just voting for to continue this war in Iran, that is going to help us 0% help us. Also covering for Donald Trump when he told his truth, which was he doesn't give a flying fuck about how the war in Iran is going to help or hurt the American people. Because again, this is about the midterm elections. This is about ego. This is about making sure that our relationship with Israel is as strong as ever before. And because of that, John Fetterman is one of the biggest advocates for Donald Trump, despite the fact we have the previously mentioned Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world jumping ship because they realized how corrupt and pedophilic Donald Trump is. This is one of the biggest surprises in my life when it comes to seeing a politician switch. I've seen a politician switch parties before. We've heard of this, or a politician, Republican, Democrat, becoming independent. But I've never seen it to this degree. All right. Who traveled with Donald Trump? A man who's not an American. Elon Musk, the man who can't wait to destroy not just the world, but of course the environment as well, with every data center proposed and being built. Where does Elon Musk come from? It's his father's balls. And I want to play this clip because it just shows you the insight of these people and how elites think and just what they have normalized in their lives. And this is why, this is why we're not going to get the Epstein files. This is why Donald Trump wants to hold them really close to his chest because he doesn't want to hurt his friend's feelings. But let's play Elon Musk's father talking about pedophilia and just having sex with young people. Of course, he married his adopted daughter. So let's just play that clip and we'll talk about it. It's disgusting.
It was terrible, and she's on the street, and all her clothes are on the street. And she stayed here for 3 weeks, and we got on very, very well. She was now a grown woman of just on 30.
How old were you at that time?
So I was 70.
It's just 40 years difference, eh?
40 years difference.
Yeah, roughly.
Yes. A couple of months later, she called me and said she needs to see me. So she came, and she sat there, and she showed me a mammogram. Or not a mammogram.
Oh, yeah. It's a scan to see the baby.
Scan, right.
And were you not nervous for your ex-wife to find out that you had a baby with her daughter?
No, she was remarried.
Yeah, I know that, but it's still unconventional, you know?
No, she was living with someone else. In that case, I should have been walking around outside her house saying, what are you doing with this other man?
So, but do you not think that's strange at all?
No. One woman's another woman. You must remember, in 2/3 of the world right now, marriageable age is 12.
Yeah, that's wrong, though.
Well, you may think so. If you look in the third world, a man won't take a woman who's second hand.
Oh, my God.
A man won't take a woman that's secondhand. Literally, you know, people at some places in the world, people get married at 12. Well, that's wrong. Maybe to you. Maybe to you. That'll get you punched in the face at a bar 10 out of 10 times. Oh, but sadly, there are still people who believe that that's okay. 2 stories, one out of Oklahoma, one in the celebrity sphere. Sydney Sweeney's character in Euphoria. There's a correlation here because she, remember, dressed as a baby. She had a diaper on and a bib and a little pacifier in her mouth. And this was theoretically supposed to turn on whoever she was having sex with. Her character in Euphoria has now become a pro-Trump character, which I don't know who's writing this show. Why anybody would want to infuse American politics into their actual television show is beyond me. It's not going to help. But we also had a law in Oklahoma that just passed, barely, because there was many Republicans who said, I don't like it. What was this bill? It was opposition to Oklahoma finally banning child marriage. It passed with a single vote. With a single vote. Republicans were pissed that this law passed at all. It was fiercely contested. It was Senate Bill 504. It now becomes law. It means that the minimum age for marriage in Oklahoma is set at 18. Okay, you have to be 18 to get married. Seems pretty reasonable. People are upset because it no longer allows for parents to sign off on their child getting married under the age of 18. No one needs to get married under the age of 18. There's not one reason on earth why someone can't wait until they're 18, which is already, in my opinion, way too young to get married. But if you want to get married, and best of luck to you. But certainly, I don't think that any parent should have the right to sign their children away to get married to God knows who. Also, what kind of person would marry someone who required a parent's signature to do it? The Oklahoma Senate passed this bill. It was unanimous back in March. Okay, so then it went up to the Senate. The Senate author is Senator Warren Hamilton. He explained that the measure is partly in response to law enforcement telling him about cases where significantly older men have preyed on minors. This is how it goes. Maybe somebody's got a bunch of cash. They're 60, 50 years old. They see a young 14-year-old person that they like, whatever, want to prey on. They go to the parents, here's $100K, let me marry your daughter. Next thing you know, she's basically sold into sex slavery or indentured servitude. So this just passed. Republican David Hardin said, no. We must let children marry. He attempted to justify the Republican opposition, going out of his way to clarify that despite battling to keep child marriage legal, he says, quote, I'm not an advocate for child marriage. But it kind of seems like you are. You literally had a vote where you would ban child marriage, which I thought that this would be 100 to none. But instead, you said no. Hardin says the issue erodes parental consent. This is not about parental consent. This is about the welfare of a child. And I guarantee you, I would love to know the stats. Maybe I might be speaking out of my left butt cheek here. But I'm assuming most people who get married under the age of 18, I don't think the marriages last, number one. And I would assume they probably don't really enjoy it by the time they're 20. So he says, why shouldn't a teenager's mom or dad marry off one of their kids? He says they're their kids. Oh, my Lord. So it is so pervasive, and I'm sure many of you guys saw this story regarding the cruise ship as well, the Disneyland or the Disney cruise ship, where 27 cruise ship workers were engaged in selling child pornography. 27. This was in San Diego. 27 cruise ship workers, including some from the Disney Cruise Line, were deported after engaging in child pornography. That was according to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. It's so pervasive and it's everywhere to the degree where we have politicians having the confidence to say on record that they believe children under the 18 years old should be married off if their parents want to make a little bit of money. God dang. Horrible. All right. Let's move on. Just lastly, let's get to AI. As we do, we're talking data centers and the hell that comes with them. King Charles, this dumpy piece of trash, a man who literally does not put his own toothpaste on his toothbrush. He has a person do a little dollop for his stupid pansy ass because he can't put toothpaste on a toothbrush himself. If this person was in a Hans Christian Andersen film and he lost his memory and all of a sudden the king's on the street and he doesn't remember he's the king, this man couldn't wipe his own ass. Completely unable to do anything because of the pampered life his citizens have allowed him to live. I do wish there was a little bit more of a Second Amendment in the UK because I think they could go for a storming of the castle just for funsies. It's a very American thing to do. Let's play King Charles. Ugh. He's a king for doing nothing. He just lived, and then he got to become king because he didn't die yet. Soon though, fingers crossed. So let's play King Charles talking about how AI, along with a digital ID, is going to modernize Europe, aka put everybody in mental slavery. Let's play it.
My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
Does he always chill with a crown on?
Bro, that guy, yeah, he likes his hats. Good God Almighty. This man can't even keep his own family together. Speaking of children getting married to people that other people don't like, Meghan Markle. His brother is one of the biggest pedophiles in history. I believe that's his brother. Isn't Prince Andrew his brother? I think that's the way their disgusting bloodline has worked out. Brother or close cousin. So they, being the king, is going to be on the front lines of a digital ID.
Prince Andrew is the younger brother of King Charles III.
So he's the younger brother. So you know you are a bad older brother when your younger brother becomes one of the biggest pedophiles worldwide in the history of humanity. So let's talk about what that actually means. This is from the ACLU. More than a dozen wrongful arrests due to police reliance on facial recognition technology. We have two clips. These do come from mainstream media, but sometimes mainstream media can cover a story that actually kind of matters. So let's start with the first one. This was a woman that was arrested, and she spent 6 months, half a year, in prison, in jail, for a crime she didn't commit. And you're like, oh, 6 months. That you lose your job. You can lose your family. You can lose your kids. 6 months is huge for a crime you did not commit because law enforcement was too lazy to do their job the way they used to do it back in the days of Matlock.
Spending any amount of time in jail for a crime you didn't commit is too much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's play this clip.
Get this one. A Tennessee woman spent more than 5 months in jail for a crime she didn't commit, one that happened 1,000 miles from her home, and police say AI is to blame.
The police are to blame.
Angela Lips says she's never even been to North Dakota, but police there issued an arrest warrant for her for bank fraud. She says U.S. Marshals arrested her at gunpoint at her home, and she was then later extradited to North Dakota. Lips wrote this on her GoFundMe page. It was the first time I had ever been on an airplane. I was terrified and exhausted and humiliated. Police in Fargo now say a false positive from an AI facial recognition tool used by a neighboring police department is what's behind this mess, flagging Lips' photo as a potential suspect.
That's fantastic.
But they forwarded that information to our detectives.
Yeah. David Zablosky.
Assumed, wrongly, that they had also sent in the surveillance photos with that photo ID.
Angela Lips was finally released months later when bank records proved that she was in Tennessee at the time of the crime. The police chief says they've already made changes to prevent this from happening again, though he did not directly apologize for what.
No, why would he? Why would he? He only detained a U.S. citizen for 6 months.
Where is innocent until proven guilty? Like, she
Gone
shouldn't have to
and dead.
prove her innocence to get out of jail. Like, that's crazy.
We have another another clip here in 1 second, but I want to tell you another story. June 23rd, 2021, there was a woman. We'll call her Miss Williams. She was accompanying one of her daughters on a DoorDash delivery to a local military base in Lawton, Oklahoma. The security checkpoint said, "Oh my God, we flagged Miss Williams." They detained her. They said that she had a warrant for her arrest for fraudulent over-the-counter cash withdrawals in Maryland in December 2019 and January 2020. An unknown individual entered SunTrust and Truist Bank branches, took out some money illegally. Miss Williams, however, was nowhere near Maryland during this time. She was a resident of Oklahoma, living with the two daughters and their children. Well, someone was defrauding banks in Maryland. However, because of AI, they confused her, they arrested her, they detained her, and completely ruined her life using facial recognition software. It recognized Miss Williams as, quote, a suspect in the Montgomery County investigation. The detectives made no attempt to establish whether Miss Williams was an Oklahoma resident. Instead, they simply arrested her and said, "Yeah, you're the one we're looking for." They say the detectives ignored obvious leads. One of the incidents involved a fraudulent check made payable to a name not associated with any bank accounts, yet there was no investigation of that name. These are just the tip of the iceberg. This is going to happen again and again and again. Let's play this next clip. It's a little bit longer, but it's important.
I've never been to jail. Never.
This is what my tax dollars are paying for?
It's not built for comfort.
What the fuck?
It's not built for comfort. Thanks, cop.
It's not built for comfort, pal.
Imagine you go into a business and their AI surveillance camera thinks it recognizes you as a trespasser.
Nightmare.
Off right there.
Yeah, and this is one of those things, you guys have this fancy software that does all this stuff.
So that business handcuffs you and calls the cops.
So it's like,
Officer, what's your name?
1 second, man.
They treat you like an asshole.
How goes it? What's up, buddy?
You show them your real ID, but they don't believe it. Instead, they believe the AI.
Facial recognition system, and it came up
100%.
100%.
So either he presented a fake identification the first time, or he's presenting it now.
Jason consistently
Or the
denied that
AI
he was
is wrong.
anyone other than himself, other than the person he produced evidence to support that he was.
They are strikingly similar and weird enough. Their fancy AI technology that reads faces. No, it says it's a 100% match.
100%.
My feeble human brain looking at two different driver's licenses.
I hate cocky
Can you look at
cops.
the signatures?
Signatures are different because they're different names.
Different names. Oh my
So
God.
what is the law on this? There was no arrest warrant clearly for this individual, Jason Killinger, or even the suspect they thought he was. So this is a warrantless arrest. Probable cause is required for warrantless arrest.
Nothing in there.
By myself.
Yep, you're literally for like 2 to 3 minutes just for them to review.
Just 2 to 3 minutes.
Officer
it's not gonna
Jager
be 2 to 3
deliberately
minutes.
chose not to examine information with which he was presented that proved that Jason Killinger was actually Jason Killinger and not a different person.
Oh my God.
I know. She's got to review the paperwork.
As far as I know, they have thus far failed to hold themselves accountable in any way, not surprisingly. But a lawsuit has been filed. It's still pending.
She's going to snap a picture. While she's doing that, I'm going to get a picture too.
There we go.
Just look up at the camera
Have
there.
fun with it. Pose a little bit. Yeah.
These
Cool.
actions had the real world consequences of incarcerating and prosecuting a completely innocent man.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the civil rights lawyer that was speaking there, just making this case more public. When it comes to AI, also a little secondary stories. There was a Florida news site that had to shut down. It was called the South Florida Standard because it turns out none of their articles were written by people. It was all AI-generated reporters. So they shut that down, thank God. And just lastly, when it comes to AI and how it's going to affect the way we shop, Maryland has been the first state to end predatory pricing. This is the Maryland's Protection from Predatory Pricing Act. It's going to take effect October 1st of this year. So this matters because what's going on right now is a thing called surveillance pricing, where you, as you walk down the aisle, will be given a different price for the exact same good than somebody else based upon your social status and based upon how much you're willing to pay. So if I walk down the aisle, they look at me, they're like, that fat fuck, he'll pay $18 for a bag of chips. We know he can't avoid the baked lays. This guy loves them too much. They'll look at somebody else and be like, they're a skinny little prick. They probably only want to pay $2 for these baked lays. It's horrible, completely un-American. And I don't see how it's constitutional. So Maryland, congratulations, you have become the first state to end surveillance pricing, which I'm sure you guys have seen the videos now. People are starting to actually see it in real time. We're like, the price changed. Depending on who you are, all of that is part of the AI surveillance system that all ties in to the digital ID that piece of trash fake king wants to have all over Europe and obviously all over the world. All right, well, let's get to a phone call to wrap up the week.
All right. So before we take the phone call, if anybody would like to call to be on a future episode, the number is 323-515-9095.
Okay.
And we would love to hear from you.
All right. Also, I think we have so many calls that we might just do a bonus episode again next week. Maybe once a week, we'll just do 5 or 6 calls for one episode. All right. Here we go.
All right. And this is Hayden.
Okay.
Hey, Ben. How's it going? This is Hayden, a.k.a. Ghostface on Instagram.
All right.
I just want to let you know that I want all politicians to fight each other in a gladiator pit. Okay. I think we should only have the physically strongest and most capable politicians in office. Obviously, this would mean you would be the president, which is what I intend. So please, set this up. Let me know. I will help with any logistics. I'm not going to go in the pit myself because I can't fight that well.
Right.
But I am in the gym. Let me know. Bye.
I do love that idea. Unfortunately, I think it's closer to happening than we imagine because we do have UFC. July 4th, there's going to be a UFC fight on the front lawn of the White House or South Lawn, whatever. So maybe a couple politicians will get in there and scrap it out. If we had Mitch McConnell and Chuck Grassley fight it out to the death, which literally could be any second. It's elder abuse what they're doing with both of those clowns, by the way. I think that's a fantastic idea. And we might finally get a good, strong transgender president, perhaps. Interesting. All right, one more call.
Okay. Our next call is from Bill from Missouri.
All right, Bill from Missouri. Hello, Bill.
Take two. Hey, Ben.
Take
This is
two.
Bill
All
from
right.
Missouri. There's a lot of parallels between Trump and the CEOs going to China, kind of like a marriage between government and corporate interests.
Kind of.
Now, there's always been a marriage between government and corporate interests, but this seems like it's a little too far out there on the max. And it compares right up to Germany, Nazis, because they were in bed with the CEOs of their country as well. What are your thoughts on that? And go Broncos and hell yourself.
Whoa, go Broncos. We got a Broncos fan calling in from Missouri.
That's not where they're from.
Well, I guess Missouri doesn't have a national football team. So I suppose it's one of those pick'em countries or states where you just get to pick your team. So they went Broncos. All right. Yes, the corporatization of the American political system is why we are where we are. The repeal of, the passing of Citizens United, along with all of the corporate interest bills that have been passed, because corporations literally write the bills, and sometimes you can even see in the fine print, they'll have their letterhead on the bills that the politicians blindly sign. They are bought and sold. We all know it. And of course, that is the beginning of the end of our fantastic republic. Once the corporations officially control the strings, and once they pull the strings rather and control the politicians that theoretically write our laws, we are completely and utterly doomed. It is to be a citizen attempting to fight the U.S. government or try to bring change to the U.S. government, it becomes increasingly more difficult when you also have to fight the trillion-dollar businesses that are obviously running the show. So it's horrible. Yeah, that's the whole point. This is not a democratic society. I know I can already hear people, it's a republic. Okay. It's not even really a democratic republic anymore. We've talked about gerrymandering, redistricting, all those things. They water down the vote. They buy the votes. It costs millions and millions and millions of dollars to just run for office. I mean, technically, you got to fill out some paperwork. You can do it quite cheap and have no chance in hell. I was speaking the other day to a buddy of mine. This next election, 2028, on a federal perspective, they're going to both be, Democrats and Republicans they're going to spend over $1 billion easy each, just to have the chance to fuck up our government more. So yeah, that's where we are. That's where we're at. And I think anyone, who isn't blind sees that and sees how frustrating it is to fight against that. Obviously, I wish that these people would have to have the names of all the corporations tattooed on their face, like they're rappers, and that would be really nice just to know who owns these people, because the people in office, we think of them as powerful, but they are cucks for the corporations, and they love to be treated like bad boys after midnight on Sundays. All right. There we go, everyone. What a fantastic week it's been. Thank you for your support. Leave some comments below.
I have a
spread the word.
Quick fact check. The Kansas City Chiefs are from Missouri, so there is a football team there.
The Kansas City Chiefs, it's Kansas City, Missouri?
Yeah. That's where the Chiefs are from, which is actually even more impressive that he's a Broncos fan, because the Chiefs have been one of the most winningest dynasties in football.
Also, I think that's a big rivalry.
Are they?
Yeah, the Broncos and Chiefs are a big rivalry, I think. So this man's a real turncoat. Well, let me know why. Let me know why you're a Broncos fan. Let me know why. His name was Bill, right? Broncos Bill.
Bill from Missouri.
Bill from Missouri, yeah. The Bronco. Bill and his Broncos. That's interesting. Kansas. I thought it would be Kansas. Huh, what the hell do I know? All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for listening. Love yourself. Be yourself. Hail yourself. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.